T minus 3, 2, 1, ignition.
What you know about this life? Yeah. Just relax, baby, get high. Yeah, you're on your way to the best night ever. No time, no time, no time.
All right, folks, it's your boy T-Bay with the Week 11 recap. We got some fun stuff to talk about. The playoff implications are red hot right now, so there's a lot to get into. I'm going to try to not ramble for too long, but we're going to open up with mine and Andrew's matchup. Your standard, this has been my year. This is just how things go for me. I've scored 130 points in these past 3 weeks, and I've lost to people that have scored 140. It's crazy. It's insane. It's like I'm stuck in a loop. It's a never-ending nightmare. Last week I was 132 to 143 against Bobby. The week before that I was 133 to 146 against Cam. I just cannot catch a fucking break. Everyone's quarterbacks just go crazy. We got Trevor Lawrence with 32 points against me. He hadn't scored above 20 points this entire year. And what's he do against me? Oh, he decides I'm going to score 32 against T-Bay. That's always fun. Stafford only had 9. McCaffrey with a pretty tame game. Less than 20 points is great for if you're playing against McCaffrey. Eckler didn't do shit. CeeDee Lamb with a standard 13 points. Kittle had a really good game, Jerome Ford. But it was Dallas defense with 24 points. That's just like, what are you going to do, right? That's always fun. My team, 15 points from Dobbs, 25 from Herbie. His standard. Breece Hall had a pretty nice game. Rachaad White is finally figured out, or the Bucs have figured out that Rachaad White's actually pretty good if you give him the ball in space. And so he's been really decent these past few weeks, or about past month or so. Marquise Brown, holy shit, he was better when he had backup quarterbacks thrown to him. Kyler does not like throwing it to this guy, so that sucks. I was really hoping he would pan out, but he has not been good. He only had 2 points. Devontae, finally, he hasn't scored a touchdown in about 2 months. First round pick, by the way. That's sick. I lost Mark Andrews. That always is fun when you lose a tight end because it is the least replaceable position. Even though he's only averaging like 12 points, I mean, that you're not going to find that anywhere else. It fucking blows. My year, this year cannot end sooner. I would pray tomorrow I wake up and the year is just over. But those prayers are falling on deaf ears, and this year will never end. So my team, losing to Andrew, I score 131 points, which most weeks you have a pretty good chance of winning, especially this year. Not the case for me. I've had 3 weeks of 103 points, and it has gotten me dick. So let's move to Michael's matchup. Michael coming out with the big win, the most points this team has scored all year, 164. A lot of chatter. I mean, Saquon was a big part of that, 28 points. That's definitely the most he's scored this year, I think. Yeah, that was a huge game for him. Jordan Love has been very decent. He played the worst defense in the league, though, against the Chargers, so that was pretty huge for Michael, that matchup. Jahmyr Gibbs and Tyreek. All right, a lot of chatter about this trade, and the more I've thought about it, the more I think, at least obviously in the short term, it's impossible to judge these things long term because we don't know what's going to happen. No one knows the future. But wow, did Michael get away with highway robbery on this? And who else besides Michael would get a trade this insane? So he trades, as we all know, he gave away his first for 2 years from now. I have his first next year, so he doesn't have any draft picks this next draft. But 2 years from now, he's already ruining his draft. So he traded that away, which who knows what that's going to be. That could be huge if his team is as bad as it is this year, next year. But then he traded Tua, his first, and Joe Mixon to get Tyreek, who, by the way, is like the best guy in fantasy. He's basically Christian McCaffrey this year. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, who is insane and has been very good these past few weeks, especially when Monty was out. But he is a PPR machine. They throw it to him so much. He's so fast. He's RB6 on the year. He can be really good for a very long time. But holy shit, this is kind of an insane trade for Tua. I mean, and he got Russell Wilson, who, say what you will about him, but he has been serviceable. He is very serviceable this year. He's QB 14. I mean, he's basically the same guy as Tua this year, to be quite frank. And I don't know. I don't really get it. I mean, I would get it if this was for like CJ Stroud, if this was for like a locked in like top 8 QB for the next like 5 years or something. Tua, though, he is just, Cam says it best. He always points out what everyone sees about Tua. I mean, he's going to be in the high-powered offense with the kid whiz, whatever the fuck his name is, their head coach. But as an actual quarterback, he is like, no team would pick him over like CJ Stroud or Herbert or anyone. He is just in some system where he can produce, but he is not a lot without Tyreek. If you take Tyreek off of that team, and Tyreek is not going to be there forever. He's 29, turns 30 in like March. He's not going to be there forever. So if you take away the 100 yards after catch that Tyreek gets Tua, he's not going to be worth a whole lot. So I think Michael knows that. He got rid of Tua and got an insane load for him. So he got the best player on the best offense in the league, Tyreek Hill, and then he got maybe the second best player on like the second best offense in the league, or like, I mean, the Lions are probably a top 5 offense, in Jahmyr Gibbs. And if David Montgomery, who he's always injured, when he's injured, Jahmyr Gibbs is like a top 2 running back. Like he's insane when Monty is not on the field. So yeah, I don't know. And I know we're going to 10-team league, so it's going to be like harder to get these quarterbacks. But it seems like every year there's these quarterbacks that just like fall out of thin air and get drafted in the late rounds. Just this year alone, we had Sam Howell. Cam got this white piece of shit in like round 8 or something. CJ Stroud, Michael got him in like the 7th or something. He got him super late. Jordan Love drafted super late. Josh Dobbs is off the fucking waivers. He's been super serviceable. And then, of course, Anthony Richardson, had he never been injured. So there's like, just alone, there's like 4 of these quarterbacks that were like super late round picks that are like top 10 quarterbacks. Last year, there was like Justin Fields. So I'm just not, it seems like every year there's these new quarterbacks that just get drafted in late rounds, and they're always there in the late rounds because everyone else is keeping 2 quarterbacks. So I'm just not, I don't know. It's too early to tell what it's going to be like when there's 10 teams. Of course, it's going to be that much tougher to get quarterbacks, but it just seems like every year there's these really late round quarterbacks who just pan out and they become very good and very likely keepers. So I don't know. I'm not buying the whole like quarterbacks are going to be like impossible to come by next year. So get whatever quarterback you can get. And I'm saying this is the guy who just got Anthony Richardson, but I got that fucking guy because I watched like all these other stupid running back quarterbacks that are getting at least 15 points a game just because they run the ball. So I got Anthony Richardson, but I think he's going to be good. Shane Steichen is the QB whisperer. But anyways, that's all I got to say about that trade. Michael his team is just like way better now, and he gave away the QB 12 and a first round pick 2 years from now. And that just seems insane to me. And yeah, so good for Michael, man. You did it. Finessed him. So Michael popped off, destroyed Jacob. Jacob's team everyone just had a really rough week on his team besides his wide receivers. So yeah, that's all there is to say about that. He had Purdy on the bench with 30. That's right. Oh, Brock Purdy, another quarterback that was just drafted in like what round? Like, of course, fucking sleeper doesn't tell me. Here we go. Yeah, she drafted him in the 9th. So just this year alone, there was like 4 quarterbacks drafted in like post round 6 that were super good. So just a little food for thought. Anyways, jumping into the next matchup, we have Connor and Cam. This was a huge win for Connor. It came down to a very, very close Monday night game, which, I mean, his those cheeks must have been puckered the entire game for both of these fine gentlemen. Holy shit. DeAndre Swift had a really good game. I miss him. He is good. I'm sad he's not on my team anymore, but it had to be done. I didn't want to give up a draft pick for Anthony Richardson. So Jalen Hurts, 2 running touch. I mean, this guy, it's impossible. It's literally mathematically impossible for Jalen Hurts to not score at least 15 points. It's unbelievable because he just always has rushing touchdowns. He has more rushing touchdowns than like most running backs do. It's fucking unbelievable. So he's insane. Lamar had a really good game, but he lost Mark Andrews, so that's something to watch out for. Devon Achane is injured again, so that's another tough break for Connor, but he has Kyron Williams coming back. Derrick Henry didn't do shit. Tank Dell was crazy, which is funny because Cam's starting CJ Stroud. Then Brandon Ayuk with a really good week. But he also lost Kenneth Walker. So Connor's running back just fucking dropping like flies, but he's got tons of them on the bench, so he'll be just fine. But then Cam's team, I mean, Sam Howell and CJ combined for 30. Monty with a good. It just sucks. He lost Joe Burrow, so that's another rough break for him, and that just destroys Jamar Chase unless Jake Browning is worth a shit. Keenan Allen with 25, Laporta 5. So not like a terrible week from Cam's team, but no one with a crazy game outside of Keenan Allen, so it just couldn't happen. Jumping to the next matchup, we got Bobby and Finn. Bobby's team just kind of not doing a whole lot this week. Stephon Diggs and A.J. Brown just didn't do anything. Just crazy from those two. So when those two don't do anything, Bobby just doesn't really stand a chance unless Dak scores 40 points. But he only does that when he's playing me, honestly. So that's unfortunate for Bobby because he's probably not going to play me again this year. But anyways, Finn's team had a really good week. Tua, I mean, yeah, his new acquisition had a good game. He had about 18 points, so that's not too bad. He still won. It's not like his team is now just terrible because he doesn't have Tyreek. I'm just saying he could have probably got more. I would have just not given him Gibbs. I would have just taken Tua, that first, and Joe Mixon for Tyreek alone, honestly, because that's how fucking insane Tyreek is. And he still has Justin Fields, who's just now going to sit on his bench and do nothing. So, I don't know. Anyways, and Jonathan Taylor on his bench. So Finn's team is looking on the up and up. Honestly, there's no team now that I'm looking forward to playing in the losers bracket. Everyone's team is far better than mine, it seems like. So that's really all we got. If we look at this week's matchup, we got some major matchups this week. So if we look at the standings, let's just go to the standings. How the fuck do we do that? I guess there is no standings. Well, fuck me then. Whatever. All right. Well, we got Jacob, Andrew at 7-4, Bobby at 7-4. We got Connor. This is really the tight range. It's Connor, Cam, and Nick. Nick at 5-6, Cam and Connor at 6-5. So that's how huge Connor winning last week was for him to keep him out of the losers bracket. But right now, I mean, you really just got Michael and I locked into losers bracket. We got this week and next week, and then playoffs begin. So this is make it or break it for a lot of these teams. And honestly, if like Cam loses the next two, he could be in the losers. If Finn loses, he has to win the next two to get in the winners. If Connor loses the next two, he could be in the losers. So really huge matchup for Cam and Nick. Huge matchup just for everyone, honestly. I mean, if I beat Jacob, that has some implications. I mean, he could lose. It all matters for seeding. Really, I'm the only one. It doesn't matter. Nothing really matters for me, honestly. So that's like, that's what we're looking at here. And I fully expect to lose to Jacob. When it comes to Andrew and Michael, it's neck and neck. But I'm going to lean towards Michael because he's got those new guys who are pretty fucking good. Bobby, I'm leaning towards Connor. Or Bobby and Connor, I would be leaning towards Connor winning this, but it just is a matter of if Bobby's team, his quarterbacks fucking just go crazy. And then with Finn and Cam, I'm kind of leaning towards Cam, but that's what we're looking at right now. So good luck to everyone. I hope everyone else enjoys this year. And happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I'm thankful to be in this wonderful league, and I'm so thankful we're going to have two new fucking idiots that are willingly walking into the furnace, the inferno that is fantasy football. I mean, the sparkle in their eyes is going to be gone soon enough after they are subjected to this torture. And I look forward to that. It's going to be fun. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.